Hello, and welcome to the Velvet Revolution with myself, Ben Rice. And I haven't got a different one. I'm going to go back to co-pilot because I do like that one. My co-pilot, Dave Noble. How you doing?
You just say gunman.
Gunman.
I like that one.
So it's a little bit more aggressive, but yeah, I'm happy to go with
That's that Top Boy, isn't
that.
it? um, how you doing?
I'm
Oh,
all
you
right.
asked me how I'm doing.
I did, but I
How
can, I
you
can.
doing? You go first. How
Okay.
you doing? How
How am
you
I doing?
doing?
I am. How am I? I am. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's been an interesting week. Another drama around my wound,
Mm-mm.
and but I feel like I might be getting somewhere. I've got an appointment next Friday. About yeah, next Friday with back at the hospital with my consultant. So I'm hoping I'll have some answers because at the moment no one really seems to know what's going on. But yeah, apart from that, I've been to see some people. I've been out. It's the first week where I've really tried to move, and so I've been into town a couple of times, met up with some good people, had some nice conversations, and yeah, it's weird. It's not. I get this, this whole idea of. I was reading this week about people are struggling to socialize again, or
Where'd you
people
read
are.
that? Where did you read that?
I can't remember where I read that, but this idea that people aren't up for going out anymore.
Because
The
they're
lockdown,
skint.
the skin,
It's
their
because we're all
skin,
being ravaged by the freaking system.
and then yeah, this idea that you're not that people aren't as confident about being out in social situations, which I don't know if is true or not,
I don't
but I
know
definitely
about that.
feel out of the loop. Like
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely felt this week it was not as easy being with people as it has been before, but I don't know if that's just the energy thing. So
I was talking to someone about this just yesterday.
right.
I've talked to a couple of people actually, but yesterday was one conversation about this. Spoke to a couple of people. I think there's something in it. We're being squeezed.
Mm-hmm.
We're being squeezed. It's like a tube of pate.
A tube of pate.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're all being squeezed like a tube of pate. And at some point, you know that when you squeeze that last bit and it just makes like a little bit of a fart noise
Yeah.
and it all comes out, the last remnants just goes. And I feel like at some point that's got to happen. I feel like there's like a blockage, like a constipation in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
And maybe it's an emotional or spiritual, dare I say it, get really deep here, like it's a spiritual constipation that we need to just we all need to just bosh a laxative and let it all out. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Let
Maybe.
shit get real. Yeah.
Just splatter the walls with your emotion, man, and let it all out. And drop your shoulders and breathe. That's how it feels. What I'm describing in a weird way is the tension that maybe I certainly come across when I go out my front door. It's there. It's evident.
Mm.
It's this. Maybe it's an emotional constipation, you could call it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if
Maybe.
it's emotional, mental. I don't know. It's just that, we're getting squeezed. We feel like my bowels are getting squeezed, but nothing's coming out. Sorry, this is getting really close to. Is this too close to home for you? For your
No, no, no. My
no?
my my
It's not. It doesn't affect that. But that's not
no,
nothing to do
no,
with it, is
that's not the
it?
problem. No, if
Okay.
only that was the problem. Yeah, no, no. Luckily it's just slightly further up from there. But yeah, no, it is I get it. I get it. I get that idea of getting used to being in as opposed to being out. And
Yeah,
once you've got
like constipation.
yeah, yeah. And once you got used to being in, then it's very difficult to well no, I'm finding it difficult to flip that script and
Mm.
find the energy to be out again.
So you need to take, metaphorically speaking, let's stick with the constipation. right? Metaphorically speaking, how does one have that sense of release to get out? How do you get
Mm.
it out? How do you squeeze that rock hard sense of um, solidity in your life? How do you get it out?
Yeah, yeah.
What is the laxative for that? The lubricant.
uh, being out more. I think it's about being out more and being energized by the people you hang around with. But you've also got to bring that energy. I feel like it's really weird. Like the people I've seen this week, the energy has changed quite dramatically from the last time I saw them. And I don't know if that's me or whether that's just the place they're in.
Mm,
And it's I don't know. I do think we go through seasons, and I think
yeah,
there's
100%.
a
Yeah.
synchronicity in terms of uh yeah, just energy. I feel like I feel flat at the moment, and
Yeah.
it's really difficult to get that energy going again.
Like I heard it. I don't I can't follow the Mercury's in retrograde stuff. There's a lot of people that do
Okay.
down here, but apparently there is one happening, I believe. And you know, a lot of stuff goes a bit wiggly woo and wobbly, and that's humans no exception. Do you buy into the 80%, right? So do you buy into the we are made of 80% water, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like the moon, like full moons, right?
Mm-hmm.
The werewolf concept of
Mm-hmm.
like when there's a full moon, it affects like Earth in quite a impactful way in many ways. So like the ocean, for example, will get swells, or any surfer, any sailor, anyone that knows the land. If you go to Hawaii, they're the water people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of that sort of part of South Pacific, and they know about this stuff. The swells, the seasons, and the moon is all part of that.
Yeah.
Equinox, all of the thousands of years ago, they were all really into what I'm talking about. I don't know too much about it, but I know enough to know that there's something in it. I believe. I'm a believer. I'm really into it, but I don't know about it. I'm not geeking out on it, but I know enough to know I feel there's something in it. And it makes sense to me if the water can be affected, the oceans can be affected by things like a full moon or whatever you call them. I don't know the names of them all. Why wouldn't we be?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, and if we're made of 80% water, if that is a thing, I don't know if that is, but if it is, doesn't it make sense that we'd be affected too?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe the ocean has a swell. Why won't we have a swell?
Yeah.
A surge in energy that suddenly, gets quite turbulent.
Yeah. I also wonder whether being being in a more built up, being in a more urban area means your rhythms and your patterns are less uh, organized, less delineated. I wonder whether, I think that's one of the beauties of living by the sea and being in a more rural area. Excuse me, is that you're more in touch with that, more in touch with what's happening in nature.
Yeah, in layman's terms, I like to call that balance.
Yeah,
It's equanimity. It's
and
equanimity.
yeah, and I just wonder whether living in a more urban area and being more like the whole blue light thing and just be there's more disturbances. I know
Absolutely.
this week I've binged on a couple of TV series and stayed up till early early in the morning just to finish this TV series off, and that's just yeah, I know then that I feel lacking the next day.
Mm,
So yeah, I think it's getting back into that rhythm, and sometimes it's really hard to get back into a rhythm of life. um, and you have to sort of work at it for a couple of weeks before it really starts to take hold again. And at the
mm.
moment, I feel like I'm out of that rhythm. My rhythm at the moment is basically going to the nurses once a day, sort of mid morning, and then that's my. I don't know whether I cope very well with more than one activity a day.
Well, I'm not surprised you're feeling a bit out of balance with what's been going on. I mean, we've got how many episodes have we done now? This is like we've
We
done
got
20 odd, right?
this is 24, isn't it? Because we only got two letters
So
left.
that's let's say that's 24 weeks of you. Well, you didn't start this, this narrative experience, whatever, narrative and of your experience that you're
Yeah, yeah.
sharing so kindly and generously on here to
Yeah.
public domain. Not just myself. We all feel hugely honored. um, I'm not surprised you feel out of balance, man. I can't imagine because I've not been through what you've been through, but I have been through things where I feel out of balance because it's hard to be in balance when you've got something that's really, you're not, it's hard to, it detracts from you being in balance. It's really hard to be in balance when you've got something quite significant going on with your physical health.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
I
it
get that.
affects your mental health. It affects your emotional, spiritual health. It does.
Mm.
It really will. It has a profound effect because we want to feel good all the time. That's humans.
Mm.
And maybe you just don't feel good all the time. So this too will pass.
All things must pass. Thanks, George.
We love you, George.
The best Beatle. Am I allowed to say that? That's controversial, isn't it?
I used to have the, um, I think it was Sergeant Pepper's. It was on my wall when I was in my bedroom when I was a teenager, a wily
Hmm.
teenager in my psychedelic phase, psychedelic haze.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was on my wall, and it was that one with the four of them. It's like a big, big poster, and it was like, Paul, Ringo, John, George. I can't remember
Hmm.
which order, but they would like, bang, 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 four squares on a poster. And it was really psychedelic, bright colors. I'm pretty sure it's the Sergeant Pepper's. I used to stare at that poster, man, whilst high on LSD
Did
or
they talk to you?
baked or baked. Huh?
Did they talk to you at
Oh
that point?
yeah, they were singing to me, man, and I was singing to them. But I do remember George. I do. George, he had the moustache. I don't think they all had moustaches at that point. George definitely rocked the moustache, in my
Mm.
opinion, the best. Then Ringo, then John, and then what's the other one? Paul.
Oh.
I'm only joking. So yeah, I love them all. Love them all. Hugely amazing people. Incredible. Anyway, where have we
Right.
gone? Where have we gone? Where have we
We've
ended
gone
up?
already. How are you then? How are you on the back of all that?
Um, how am I? Feel really, really in awe. I'm in awe.
Okay.
I'm in awe. I feel in awe. I've been standing out in my front yard on the lawn. It's got these beautiful hydrangea bushes, and they're really like really electric, bright, popping out colours. They're really beautiful and in bloom. Everything's really in bloom, and the grass is really healthy, and I'm barefoot on it, and I'm just being out in the yard, and I can see the ocean. I'm very lucky where I am. I can see the ocean from where I am, and I can hear the ocean from where I am.
Hmm.
And the sun was on my face, and it's warm. Rupert, he's basking in it like a wild, you know, animal that he is. Rupert, my cat, and he's in awe. He's just totally in the zone. And I just thought, this is really great. I feel really good. This is all I need in my life. Is this? Like, get rid of all the noise. I don't need any, all the stuff that's going on in the world. You know, don't attach to it, man. Just helps to, it really helps just to do what I just said, really. Just, then use them five senses we've got, man, and use them. And, and that's how I get my balance. It's how I feel in balance with what I'm describing, with the whole, with what I'm experiencing, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm smelling, what I'm tasting, all of that. So I feel in awe. Yesterday, it helps also. I'm continually healing my past, and I've got my dad's brother and his wife, Tony and Margaret. I love them. And my cousin Nibs, and she was born in the same week as me, and it's always lovely to see her and her son and their dog. And I went and met them all yesterday because they're down here on holiday.
Nice.
And I see them like once a year. They come here and I see them.
Hmm.
And I spent the whole day with them. And it was just so, so beautiful to. I had a big part of my family was estranged to me because I put myself in a position through my suffering that was no one's fault. I don't blame anyone. The past is the past. It once played out. I was participating. I'm just a character in that play that played out. I had a part in it. Everyone has a part in it, but who cares? Look, don't hold on to all that stuff. Just, you know, let it go and heal. And that's what I've been doing, as you know. And like, so to just sort of really spend time with these people that were really estranged to me, they were for many, many years. It's really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. It's like a group hug. Really, really healing. So that's lent itself to my sense of awe this morning. I feel really good. So I encourage anyone listening, you know, if you're estranged to any family or loved ones or close people that you've got history with, and you might have felt a little bit, there's whatever, there's some story that once played out, and you're still sitting there with a little bit of resentment, or it's a potent dose of resentment or ill will, or you just feel you can't forgive yourself or them or whatever. I'm not saying go and put yourself into a situation you're not ready to do or you feel unsafe, or I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you feel you can, I would encourage anyone just to make peace with that part of their life and make up for it, because it's really fucking rewarding, and it sets you free, man, and it sets them free.
Mm.
So that's how I am.
Okay.
um I'm excited as well because tomorrow I set off. I'm going up country and I'm gonna go and do some work. And I read a couple of emails and I want to share this because it gives hope. So, recovery and wellness is possible. Miracles do happen, right? Um, if you want to call it that. So, as you know, I work doing what I do with maybe some intervention is what is probably more formally called, going and helping families in crisis. And normally the young maverick has gone AWOL and he's taken himself hostage, and probably the family and other people, and he's bringing himself down, and it's just all ending in misery, and he's probably in addiction and mental illness and all that stuff. And I read a couple of emails, reports from the head therapists that work at some specialist treatment centres where managed to get a couple of these lads too. And that's my job done, is just to intervene, get them off the street or out of their house or wherever they are, and get them a safe passage to get treatment, get support, get help. That's my job done then.
Hmm.
And I've read the reports just this morning, and they're in a process of healing.
Brilliant.
And I
Good work.
just want to share that because I'm proud of my part in that. and they have a part in it because I couldn't do it if they didn't. It's a collaboration.
Mm.
And I know the families, it brings them a great sense of relief. There's hope and there's recovery and there's new life now for everyone. So it is possible. Recovery is possible.
Well done.
There we
Well
go.
done.
All right. So that's it. That's me.
That's you.
Hmm.
I believe we're on the letter X today, aren't we? We did wonder last time,
Yeah, and it's my turn to pick, right?
which means yeah, X,
Now,
Y, and Z are looking very,
now
very barren.
I'm gonna be honest, right? So I knew I had to pick this one. I was trying to make up a word
Right.
with an X in it
Hmm.
because there's only one word that's in contention that we can use, which is xenophobia, right?
Yeah.
Now, what does that actually mean for anyone listening that doesn't or not sure? I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but I'm not sure. When I came across that word, I was like, what is xenophobia? What is being xenophobic? Shall I get
It's
the big book out?
it's a fear of foreigners, isn't it? It's a fear of anything that is foreign.
Now this is quite a could be quite a provocative subject,
Mm.
right? Could bring up a lot of stuff. Myself, I'm just going to do a disclaimer for me alone. I want to be mindful of what we go where we go with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but quite simply, let's get it up. But I did come up with another option.
Go on then.
I don't normally do it. I don't normally look, but because I knew I had to choose. Normally I wouldn't look, but I thought, surely there's got to be another one. So I looked in the dictionary. Right, xenophobia, right, is a strong dislike, not just a dislike. It's a strong dislike or fear of people from other countries.
Hmm.
So that's one contender. Now, the other one that I want to sling in there, I just want to do it, right?
Okay.
Because we'll get away with it. And we can, because we can do what the fuck we want.
Yep.
That's the Maverick rebel in me. X-rated.
Yeah.
Now, in the dictionary, hold tight, right? In the dictionary, it says pornographic, but
Yeah.
we haven't got to go there with that one. It says pornographic or indecent.
Indecent.
So I was focusing on the indecent part
Right.
because am I am I reading too much into this? Am I straying on that? Because most people's we've done it before. There's stigma attached and word association, X-rated. You automatically think pornographic, right?
Hmm.
Your mind, we are conditioned to automatically think something that is X-rated. You go straight to it's pornographic, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to go and buy some X-rated blue movies, go to the ice cream van. Or your mate Jeff down at what do you call it street, knock on his door. Jeff's got them.
Right.
Or Sally,
Or Sally.
yeah, who works in the store, the corner
Okay.
shop. Yeah,
Yeah.
go under the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's why am I going there? But like, um, but it does say in the dictionary, in the book of words, this staple, you know, it does say it, indecent or indecent, X-rated, pornographic or indecent. Now, do they fit? Do you think they're relating the indecent part to the pornographic bit?
Yep.
That's like X-rated is pornographic, basically filth.
Yep.
You're filthy,
Yeah.
like disgraceful.
Hmm.
Okay, so we can't go there, or we could.
We could.
Should we leave it for second season? Because you'll have to pick it.
Okay. Which means we have to do xenophobic today.
Well, I mean, it's my choice, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are you going to give me permission to go with either or?
It's up to you. It's your choice.
I mean, could we link the indecent? I mean, I'd like to ask. I wish I could just do an open forum question right now, and everyone just really feed back to me live as we go. Like, who thinks we should do X-rated? Now, if I was in a classroom,
Yeah.
right, if I was in your school, right,
Hmm.
and I said to everyone in the class, hands up, who thinks we should do X-rated, or hands up, who thinks we should do xenophobia? Which one do you think they'd choose?
They'd probably want to be provocative, so they'd probably go X-rated.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think. But I'm I've got to be the responsible adult, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm grappling with there's the teenager in me, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this parent self. My higher self is going, no, Dave, come on, be responsible here.
Be
But
responsible.
then there's the teenagers going, no, fuck it, just choose fucking X-rated, man. Have you got a coin?
No.
Have you got anything you can flip? You gotta have something you can flip. CD, like a drink coaster.
We've got our cards.
Okay, right, if you
A
pick
flip
a
card.
right, right,
I don't know if
okay.
it's going to flip.
I don't know what to do. Oh, man, I don't know what to do. I don't, honestly. I don't know how to do it.
You want to go X-rated, don't you?
I do, but I'm just trying to think if we can get away with a whole episode talking about. I would because it's like there's a lot we could. We like. I'm gonna go with X-rated.
I know.
I'm going with X-rated. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. X-rated. Add it on. Redline it. Xenophobic can wait for next year, next
Okay.
season. All right. Now they're both valid topics. All right.
Hmm.
Now I'm gonna prove why. God. Um, outside the box. Right. Like question: are we now living in an X-rated world? What does X-rated like? Forget what you know, what you think you know. I'm not insulting your intelligence by saying that. I'm saying same as me. What I think I know about a lot of stuff is not accurate. I know a little bit. We all do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, we know fuck all in the grand scheme of things. We use how much percentage of our brain capacity, right? So what what you think you know about X-rated, you know, move that to one side for a minute. What does it mean to you? Can
For
you
me, it goes. For me, growing up, X-rated meant it's got a seediness to it. So for me, it feels like walking through Soho in the 80s, 90s, when they were full of little doorways, cards, little shops that just looked grotty, that just had a sort of air of, yeah, just there was something really not right about it. And it was forbidden and it was hidden and it was, yeah, I'd say almost, for me, I'd say it was almost like dirty. There was a dirtiness to it. And I mean, if you walk through Soho now, it's like night and day. It's like it's been totally gentrified,
mm,
and pretty much all of that's disappeared. But yeah, as a kid, that's what I sort of that sort of like the peep shows, that sort of idea that you were doing something that was forbidden, that you didn't talk about, that you didn't, uh, yeah, you didn't. No one was open about what was actually happening, or the idea that sex was possibly and that's, I guess that's the other thing. Haven't really named it. Is it was all about sex.
yeah, but why? Because before, like sorry to interrupt. I'm just saying
No, no,
that
no. I,
before when do you think like X-rated had this association to what you're talking about? When do you feel that that was all born? Because surely, you know, somewhere they must have pulled. I want to know if there's, and if anyone out there is listening knows this, and if you feel compelled or bothered to try and find out, is there a what's the story behind the term X-rated, or has that just been bolted on to what we're talking about, what you're saying, that stigmatized version? Because this is what I believe we can do is like, how does this, what we're doing is exploring, we use a word as a, we're riffing, every episode we choose a word which we maybe feel we could relate to or affects us in some way, right? And normally it's either an emotion or a response or an action or an idea or it could be a consequence to something, or do you know what I mean? And I think when we first started out, it would have been very limiting if we just stuck with real obvious basic baseline, emotions. Like I said before, I think I've said it. Like if we just stuck with happiness, sadness, it would have been like it's all been done before, man.
Mhm.
Right? And a lot of people just talk about stuff and not really getting anywhere with it. It's just talking about stuff. Now
Yeah,
we
yeah.
talk about stuff, but I feel like we really try and break it open a bit. And I know from the feedback that we've had that people are getting what we're doing. They're relating, man. Please let us know. If you feel that way. If you've got any thoughts. Um,
So, so I mean, I just looked up X-rated. So it originated in 1968 with the introduction of the Motion Picture Association of America film rating system.
oh,
And it was intended to indicate a film that was restricted with no one under the age of 17 admitted due to explicit content, particularly sexual content and violence.
there we go. So right, so it's not so violence X-rated would associate to an act of violence as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, which is so I guess that's where I mean I definitely associate it with the idea of cinema. And those, yeah, that so you can see it started as a sort of like no one that isn't an adult, theoretically, I know America is slightly more lax, isn't it? You can do things at 16 that you can't do here, like drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that idea that 18 was like the idea that you became an adult then. But then I think it went beyond that. So you had your 18 certificates, but then you had X or triple X rated beyond that, which were just like extreme horror movies that the violence was so despicable that no one was allowed to see it. So you think about all those censored films that were banned and
So, without naming the platforms that they sit on, but am I not mistaken? I don't watch that shit, man, that fucking gore porn. But like, am I a bit mistaken when I say that all that triple X or X or whatever you want to call it, rated stuff is sitting on most available platforms for everyone just to access if you subscribe to those channels without any kind of restriction?
well, yeah, and that's the problem now, isn't it? And that's why they've brought that. I mean, it's this week. I mean, it's actually weirdly quite topical what we're talking about because this is the week where they've tried to bring in the age verification for pornography online.
Well, it should be about freaking, I don't know, what age is it at the moment?
Well, there isn't any. That's what you're
Oh,
saying.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're saying,
yeah,
it's
exactly,
available. Like if
exactly.
you can get on the internet, it's available. So if you're 5
12.
or 6
Yeah,
and
yeah.
know how to operate a computer, then you
Yeah.
can access anything.
Wow, it's mental. So, yeah, look, it's good to sort of trace where it's coming from. Like I also think of X-Files, right? So
Okay.
not just the
Yeah.
Scully and Mulder thing. It's X-Files as in I refer to it. I use it when I write about my formative years that um there was a lot of I always use the term secret squirrel.
Mhm.
Anything I'm doing that's secret, I'm not secretive anymore. You know, I maybe withhold information from telling everyone about certain things because that's a boundary, a healthy boundary, and some things are sacred to me, and I don't have to tell everyone about everything. And then there's some people that do it online and share everything and overshare, and there's no boundary, right? But it's that's very different to how I used to be, which was I had no boundaries, right? And I would overshare and overspill everything and tell the wrong people the wrong stuff about me and my vulnerabilities. You know, I'd be spewing everything all over the place. But there's a lot of stuff, X-file, you know, like I always say, it's like a lot of stuff, secret squirrel stuff that I kept buried in these X-file sort of containers in my psyche
Hmm.
that, you know, if they're not there, they didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? And I work through all that stuff. That's recovery. You know, that's act two is getting honest about that and sharing that with a therapist or, you know, people that you can trust in a therapeutic way and process it. You know, you're as sick as your secrets,
Do you think
right?
you had your own Area 51? Like
I,
you had this
I
bunker with all these
did
aliens and spaceships and stuff that you hid from
100%,
the world.
100%, man. There's all sorts of shit in there, man. Yeah.
The Holy Grail. The
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's like Indiana Jones at the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, so the X-rated, how do we frame this? So, you know, because look, I believe it's polarized. You could use, we're not doing xenophobia, right? But if we put xenophobia next to X-rated,
Hmm.
right? Both of these subject matters, right? The way the fear and a strong dislike towards people from a different country
Hmm.
and the world of anything related to X-rated matter,
Hmm.
I believe is polarized. Both of those,
Mm.
right? So what I mean by that is some people don't have it and are really okay and measured and you know have a certain point of view and behavior and response to what subject it is, whether it's xenophobia or the X-rated world.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's the same with that. You know, in the X-rated world, some people have a real aversion towards anything that's, you know, distasteful, whether that's behavior, thoughts, or actions. They've got an aversion towards it. But some people are totally indulged in it. It could say addicted, actually.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying they're comparable, but there's definitely probably a polarization. I'm being bold to say there's probably a polarization where there's one camp that are like, you know, do it one way, and then there's another camp that do it a different way. And it's the same with what we've chosen, what I've chosen, sorry, which is how do we explore what does it mean to us? You know, what does X-rated? How does X-rated um um what does it mean to me is how does it affect me?
Yeah.
You know?
I really like this idea that you've got like these X Files, or
Oh
you did have
God.
these X Files, and I'm just thinking around this idea that like layers, like with like the idea that we're an onion and we peel ourselves back.
Yeah.
There's information that's universal that we give to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then we might give people a little bit more information, sort of at the 12 certificate,
Yeah. I
and
like
then there's
this.
and then there's the 15 certificate where you
Yeah.
might start to get a little bit spicier.
I love what you're doing here.
And then beyond the 18, you're suddenly an adult and you can suddenly
Yeah.
have so much more information. And
Yeah.
then right at the end there's this X-rated sort of
Yeah.
secret dark room.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I get it. I think at times, or no, I don't think, I know that I can be very I think there's almost a rush. There's almost like I want to get everything out. I want to meet somebody and tell them everything, and then it's like there's not anything left.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I just think I I think when you're meeting someone new and you're letting them into your life, I do think there should be shouldn't I don't know should's a bit of a strong word maybe. I think there's an idea about not giving everybody everything straight away.
Mm,
And I think if you do that and you place that much trust in people straight away, you can get burnt. And that's
I,
definitely my
yeah.
experience of trusting individuals because there's shared experience there, whether that's a healthy experience or not. But it's like, I'm going to give you everything. And then
Mm.
actually, I haven't got anything left. There's no secret X Files
Yeah.
for you to unlock.
I love what you just said there, and I really relate. And it's called trauma bonding,
Yeah.
in some realms. Um, it's classic, and I've been burnt with that one. Let me tell you, fuck. So this is why I hold this very strong sense now, you know, and knowing and intention, which I set, and it is a boundary which I want to hold, and sometimes it doesn't always get, um, you know, it's really important for it to be met, you know,
Mm,
for all of us, not just for me, for everyone.
yeah.
Any relationship I'm having with anyone, and again, relationship, we automatically go to, oh, romantic or intimate or
Mm,
significant other. No, not so. Yes, of course, but it's more than that with anyone, whether it's work colleagues, friends, family, whoever's. We need to have healthy boundaries, right? And I didn't used to have them. I've learned how to have them, and sometimes I can still struggle to keep them and maintain them, have them held, right, by myself first and foremost, but then met by other people.
mm,
Always going to be a struggle because some people get it and are doing it, and some people just don't or can't, right? And that's a struggle for everyone. I'm presuming it is for me anyway. And I always say, you know, um, like you were saying, I used to do like, the whole do it in reverse. Excuse me, I do it in reverse. So I'd crash into something, steamroll in, and then wonder why I'm you know, getting getting burnt or getting
mm,
a sense of like this doesn't feel great, or it all just implodes on itself because there's no boundaries there, and
yeah.
there's no rhythm or no balance to it, and there's no pace to it, and care
Yeah.
to it, and there needs to be a care to it and a gentleness and so now I do it a different way. It's like I always say, I don't want to do getting to know someone like I don't want to do in a year's worth of getting to know someone in a month.
Yeah. There was I watched First Dates last night, and there was a chap on there, and I think he'd been married for something like 30 plus years to his wife, and then unfortunately she had passed away. So he'd gone on the show to try and meet the love of his a new love of his life, and he was very much in this absolute, this person I'm going to meet today is going to be the love of my life. He
Mm,
was There was no boundary, there was no discernment about whether this person was going to be right for him or not. All this person needed to do was like him, and he would have fallen in love with them.
yeah.
And he'd taken along his ukulele, and he'd written them a song about falling in love, and he had all these cheesy lines, and it was heartbreaking because you just thought he was a really sweet guy, but he was too much. There was like he'd bought this woman a rose and he'd sprayed it with his aftershave so it
Mhm.
smelled of him. It just he'd literally laid on everything because he was so adamant that whoever he met today was going to be the new love, and he wanted so desperately to be with somebody.
Mm,
And it was heartbreaking because she was just like, I'm really sorry, but it's just too much for me. You're coming on too strong. And he just wanted someone desperately to love, to fill this hole that his wife had left by passing away. And there was no boundary there. There was no, I'm gonna peel back the layers until you I'm gonna reel you in. I'm gonna let you in slowly and build the trust and build the relationship.
mm,
I'm going to be really controversial here. I don't believe in love at first sight. I'm very suspicious of anybody that says I saw them and I knew they were the one, and we met and that was it, and we were married 2 3 months later. I just maybe it does work, maybe it happens out there, but for me, if I've ever done that, if I've ever gone head over heels with someone in the first 24 hours, it's never worked. It burns out very very quickly.
mm,
And I think it is much safer and much more responsible to build something slowly and gradually and let people in through those layers,
mm.
and than to suddenly, yeah, to go head first and then suddenly it all falls apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, I relate. And I like what you're saying there, man. I'm not, I'm on the fence with what you said about I don't know, because I mean, some people do have that story in their story.
Yeah.
That's their thing. It's like, oh, I met, I've heard it so many times. I know people have done that. They're like, yeah, as soon as I saw him, I was like, yeah, I know I'm going to marry her, or I know I'm going to marry him, and they're still together. Whether they're happy or not, that's a different thing. But like, they did it and they've done
Yeah.
it, but they've given it a shot and they're still maybe in it. And but so who knows? I guess we'll never know. But for ourselves, you can only talk for yourself, your own experience, right?
Yeah. And maybe tomorrow I'll
Yeah,
want to settle down. Sorry, I was break. That reminded me of Littlest Hobo there. Maybe
maybe.
tomorrow, I will walk in somewhere and fall in love with someone in the first 5 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? But you're never gonna um attract the right thing in, and I'm not just talking about relationships here. I'm getting back on the sort of what does X-rated mean to me? I always refer to energy. I think you used, I'm sure, did you mention it earlier, something about energy? But anyway, you do the right thing happens,
Yeah.
right? So we've covered that one. Karma. Letter K, karma. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, go and listen to it and report back.
Hmm.
Do the right thing happens. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Good person, put good shit out into the world, you know, things are going to be pretty cool, right?
Hmm.
If you're being a wanker about shit and you're treating the world yourself, you've got no respect and you just got an attitude and you're aggressive and just don't really feel that the life you've got is good, so you're just going to go and destroy it and destroy everyone else and blah, then see what happens. You're going to be, it's going to be very different. So there's a lot of energy associated to what I'm talking about. The energy, the spirit in which we do it. Right now, I know from my own experience that when I'm putting good energy into something, something good's going to come out of that. And when I'm not, I'm I'm going to get a different outcome. Now, only you know, people listening at home, what your X-rated file holds. Whether that's on your computer or you've got a little secret safe behind a painting in your house, or you've got
Do
like a,
people actually have that?
I don't know, or
Just the
you've
really
got
rich people.
yeah, or you've got your loft, or your basement, or you've got a secret compartment in your car under the compartment.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. Or you've got like, it's an X file, X-rated filing cabinet in your psyche.
Mm.
Yeah, in your memory, in your mind. What are you thinking, people? What do you hold in there in the darkest corridors of your being? What's there? What's in the shadows? Your shadow side. What is it? Does anyone know? Do you know?
Well, you don't watch anything blood or gory or horror do you? You
I
don't.
swerve it, man. I swerve it. Last thing I watched, which really made me feel a little bit, was I wanted to watch the film. This is ages ago, and I watched it twice because I love the film. But it's Tarantino's latest offering. But it was ages ago. Once Upon a
Okay.
Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's that brilliant scene that Brad Pitt plays. I love Brad Pitt, and he's dude, and he's in the kitchen with his dog, and he's trying to open a tin opener, and it's the retelling. It's a retelling because it's
Hmm.
fictional, retelling, and that's what I love about Tarantino. He always reframes history, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In a really like gore fest way, but because he's such a great movie maker, in my opinion, and the music and the people he has in the films and the way he does it, and he's very sort of like analog. I like his analogness
Hmm.
of Tarantino, and what he brings to it and what he gets out of the actors or the collaborators. He really, I really like him. But they are gory. But they're the only films I can sort of entertain because there's more to it than just the gore, and you know that the gore is just it's almost like B movie gore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's effects. And what I can't handle is all the other stuff that's really that made to look really real and just really fucking dark,
Mm.
X-rated. Now, this is really great that we're talking about this. I'm glad I picked this because, in my opinion, and it is only my opinion, I heard it said by Zen teachers, right, that we should never, ever use suffering for our entertainment.
Hmm.
Okay. So what does that mean? Now I remember I've never gravitated. I watched an X-rated movie that was not a blue movie.
Hmm.
Why do they call it a blue movie?
I don't know. I'll look that one up.
I want to know what that is. Do you know when I
Okay.
think of blue movie, I think of I've got that I'm gonna be controversial, but fuck it. What was the name of that pedal I bought the other week?
The Big Muff.
Yeah, that one.
Hmm.
When I think of blue movies, that's what comes up for me. And you just said it, Ben.
Okay.
I got you. So, um, but when I was young, right, I remember my granddad passed away. Hi, Jack. Love you, bro. Right. And I was young, I was really young, and me and my brother didn't go to the funeral, which we were like really young. For some reason, my mum, bless her, I feel like she was just really struggling to, it was her father, and it broke her heart, of course.
Hmm.
But I remember we didn't go to the funeral, and I just remember my mum being really upset, of course. Her father had passed, and we had to go and stay with friends. And my mum went off and did the funeral with the family and everything, right? And we were too young probably to comprehend what was going on truly. But
Mm.
I was young. I can't remember how old, but it was like, I'm talking, it was at a time when I felt really vulnerable anyway. It was like 7, 8 kind of, around about that age, right? It was young, 8 or 9, something like that. I can't remember, right? And we're in this basement Sounds like I'm getting, it sounds sinister now, right?
It really
As
does.
soon
Yeah.
as you say basement, it sounds
Yeah.
sinister.
Okay.
And I remember it's me and my bro. And bro, if you're listening to this, man, report back, hit me up, mate. I want your version of this story I'm telling, right? Because I want you to tell me whether what I'm saying is accurate. Because this is how I saw it play out, right? They had a pool table in there.
Hmm.
They had quite a bit of money, right? I think the dad was a banker, right? And we were in the basement, pool table, and they had a TV. It was like a TV games room, right? And it was the
Hmm.
basement. And there was a bunch of us in there. And it was me and my bro, and it was like a sleepover of all mates,
Hmm.
which I felt quite overwhelmed by that because it's like it was just a bit of a mad time that was playing out. And I found myself in one of them situations where I'm just like, it's me and all these people. I'm like, what am I meant to do in this situation? You know what I mean? And I was just that introverted kid that just didn't know really how to behave in that situation. So I just sat there and I'd normally just freeze, you know, and just sit on a cushion or something and just stare at whatever, the TV or watch people play pool or maybe I play pool. I don't know, but they put on a film. They put on a film, man, and it really disturbed me. And it was a horror film. And it was really disturbing what I watched on that film. It was really, I was too young to watch it. And why did you know, freeze and watch that film knowing that it was damaging? Well, I didn't know at the time it was damaging me, but it was just like, it had a really profound effect on me. Really disturbed me.
What film was it?
Can't remember. I have no idea, but
Just it was
it was
dark.
it was brutal. It was dark, man. It was really dark. And so and that's something that I never told. I've never really talked about it, if I'm honest.
Hmm.
You know, see, that's that's down the corridor. I've just pulled that. I've just opened the door there,
Open the filing cabinet.
yeah, and pulled that one out
Mm.
because we're talking about this. That's something I've just come. I've just pulled one out there. I've just gone bang. That's come out of the darkness of my psyche. That's something that happened, and you know,
Um,
and then when I came across that thing, and I never really. Another thing that happened, just one more, I'll throw you one more, right?
okay.
Is when we were all like townies, like 16, 15, 16, rattling around town, going to the fair,
Hmm.
all the boys and girls youth club, and we're all, and then we're smoking hashish, weeds there as well, of course. And then we're starting to take acid trips. And we're around someone's house and it's free house, parents are away, right?
Hmm.
And there was a bunch of older boys, that were there because the house we was round, one of the girls' older sisters, her boyfriend was round with all his mates because it was a free house.
Hmm.
It's like us younger lot, and then there's the older boys, right? And they put on that film, Spit on Your Grave,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we're on acid, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now again, I'm in a situation where I'm frozen, watching X-rated content, which is absolutely discombobulating my mental well-being, and I didn't remove myself from it. You know,
Do you?
am I going a bit? Am I? Do
No,
you?
no. I think there's lots of things I could jump off on here. But I've got a question for you first, which is, you talk about it in your book a lot, but you had this amazing habit of escaping situations when they got too much, just disappearing out the back door. Do
Houdini.
Houdini, yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
just wondering whether that was caused by this. You talk about being frozen as a child and or as a
Yeah.
teenager even, and just sort of almost trapped by your own sort of state of mind.
Mm.
Wondering whether later on you just like, actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna walk away.
There was a change. So I used to, yeah, self-deprecation. So like with it's Powerlessness,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
powerlessness, right? So I always say this, I felt quite powerless in my life up until I didn't, right?
yeah.
And I had to cultivate that, and there had to be a catalyst because I felt very powerless, very cut off, very disconnected from any sense of power within myself or in the whole, the power of the we or the power of the, dare I say it, power of the universe, right? So, um, so yeah, there was definitely, and that's why writing, your timeline, writing a story, writing a book, whatever, memoir, whatever you want to call it, you can't help but see the progression of not only a progression of decline in your mental health and where that takes you, but also an incline and a progression in your survival coping techniques to carry you through that so you don't go under completely and kill yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's like why today I stand here and I've got certain skill set which lends itself to helping other people, right? Because I know what it's like to be in that decline in my mental illness to the point where you can't go any further and the only way is up, right? And then how do you do it? So I've got all that skill set, and it's a skill set to stay in it, and
Hmm.
it's a skill set to get out of it,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And it's mindset. And once you flip the switch from I can't to I can, and that's where I come in for other people. They're saying I can't, I say you can.
Yeah.
Let's do it, let's do it. And that's what happened for me. I was telling myself I can't, and then someone said you can, and then we did it. All right. And that sounds a bit cryptic, but that's the nuts and bolts of it. So you're right. Like for a certain part of my journey, powerlessness was 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 enabling that sense of powerlessness was enabling that narrative for me to say I can't. I have to stay frozen in whatever I'm in, no matter what's going on. And there's some self-deprecation to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's right. And then at some point you start to learn a new way to pull yourself out of situations. Enter backdoor Dave. Yeah, the alter ego that just somehow pulls you out of a situation and dives out the back door like Houdini, right?
It's yeah. I mean, it almost you've gone through all three phases, haven't you? You see, you did the freezing when you were younger,
Hmm.
then you hit flight mode,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then probably now in Act Three you're fighting, but
yeah.
not in a I'm gonna bust your nose open. I'm gonna do the work and fight the demons.
Freedom fighter.
Freedom fighter, nice.
So, and where's like, so getting back to like trying to just bring in X-rated. So it's just,
Do you want the definition of blue movie?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the term blue movie is a euphemism for pornographic films, likely originating from the association of the color blue with vulgarity and obscenity.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know the
Blue? The
blue
color
had that.
blue?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be red, like red light district or.
Another theory suggests that the term arose from the practice of using cheaper blue tinted film reels for lower budget, less respectable films.
Right. I'm gonna dare to get. I'm gonna put myself on the line here.
Go on then.
I'm gonna dare to, you know, fuck it. And it's not oversharing,
Hmm.
right? I use the term hands down pants, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm only throwing myself on the bus, Ben. Right?
Yeah.
You haven't got to go there, right? I'm not putting you on the spot here. Um, so look, anyone that's listening, it sounds cryptic. Hands down pants. What does hands down pants mean? Now, in Britain, pants are your underwear, right?
Hmm.
In
Not
the
your trousers.
United States of America, it's your trousers.
Hmm.
Whatever, don't matter. hands down pants. Now, use your imagination, people. Okay, I'm being polite here by using this term, but is that taboo, right? It's a taboo thing that I am entering right now, right?
Hmm.
Now, how is it a problem? How has it been a problem in my life, right? Well, and how can it be a problem in my life? And how can it be a problem outside of that? The act of um, self satisfaction, is that the right term? Self satisfaction,
Self-stimulation.
self stimulation, self adulation. I mean, let's get it real, people. Again, it's polarized. Some people just don't do it. Now, in there's in the I don't know if I should say this, but yeah, it's the yeah, of course, yeah, Buddhism, right? So I've studied it a little bit. I'm not Buddhist, but I studied it, right? No intoxicants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, they're not allowed to hold money in their hand, right? They don't touch. Um, it sounds quite sterile, it does, but it's what they do, and it's very sacred and pure what they do, and I think there's many qualities that can come from it. Um, is yeah, like they can't embrace people. They're not allowed to hold
Human
people.
touch.
Yeah, like cuddles and
I
holding
remember.
hands and
I remember that after the
yeah,
after that retreat I did last year.
yeah.
So after on the 10th day when we actually broke our silence, there was this this outpouring from everyone that was there because they hadn't talked for 9 days,
Mm,
and the one of the sort of uh, helpers was this Tibetan monk, and someone actually went to give him a hug. Just they'd had such an incredible experience, they sort of went
mm,
to embrace him, and he just recoiled.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that whole physical touch
Uh,
is quite strictly adhered to, isn't it?
yeah. And what comes with that is there's no hands down robes.
I'm still right. Okay.
I don't think they wear pants. Oh,
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. In definitely not American pants.
no.
They might wear British pants
Yeah.
under their robes. But
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? They don't no hands down pants, right? And
Well,
sorry, go on.
well, I mean, that's Buddhism, which, yeah, there's a purity to it there. But I mean, you can look at that in pretty much every religion.
Hmm.
Is like the idea that priests shouldn't be married or shouldn't have sex, or there's this sort of celibacy.
Yeah,
But
celibacy.
if you enter into any sort of order, monks, nuns, whatever, you are taking a vow of celibacy as well.
Hmm.
And I think you use this word earlier, but the idea of purity. So
Hmm.
in a very basic sense, we need to uh, reproduce because otherwise we don't survive as a species. So it's a very integral part of who we are.
Yeah.
But yet every religion is very much this. It's almost, well, it is a sin. You don't. It's like you remove yourself from that. It's like you're taking yourself to a higher plane, a higher place where you don't need that, or you're not allowed it. And I think
What?
it's a
What? Not allowed. What? A child
or sex, touching, hands down pants, whatever you want to call it. I
choking
mean,
the chicken.
all of those euphemisms. It's like, yeah, you're taking yourself out of uh, that plane of being, which
Hmm.
is a fairly standard, pretty much every human being on this planet. wants to get their rocks off in different ways, but you know, we all want to. That's what we all want to do, or definitely at different parts of our lives. You know, we have different sort of
Yeah,
highs and
yeah,
lows.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. And just
It's okay. I feel like because the reason I brought that up, right, is not to be like provocative or to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I don't feel too uncomfortable talking about it now,
mhm,
right? Now I used to. It's very taboo.
yeah,
But then on the flip side of that, it's if you're around a lot of guys, and it is guys,
mm,
I can't talk for the ladies, but guys especially, you know, it's quite a bit of a jock thing, isn't it? And I use that term jock, you know, "Yeah, right, yeah. I was round your mum's house last night, mate. You know, all of that kind of testosterone kind of banter, right?
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And part of that is they wouldn't use the term hands down pants. I used that just because when I was writing about it, I wanted to use something that wasn't masturbation sounds a bit sort of there's just as soon as you say it, it's everyone gets a bit like whoa, especially because we're British, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's so many different terms for it. You know, I'm not just talking about us guys here, by the way, ladies, right? So, um, why have I decided to bring this into the mix? Well, look, I'm talking out loud here, right? This is like real time conscious stream of thought. Then I just thought, right, okay, I need to bring into the mix, because I feel like we've still got more to explore about the gore porn,
Hmm.
right? Because it's a problem, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I'll remind people what I said. I came across that Zen teaching, or it was a saying, or someone said it who was from that realm, who said we should never, ever watch suffering for our entertainment, right? It's not skillful, it's not healthy, it's not productive to your own sense of well-being or for karmically for the world, right? Now, if you look back to the history books, right? Gladiators, look at the
Mm.
Rome, like just use the Roman gladiators, right? Bloodthirst sports. You know, they'd set tigers on people and watch people get ravished by tigers. There was sport. It was a sport, right? So I feel like there's still more to explore in that realm because about why are we all hypnotized? You know, there's this trend. I don't even know if trend is the right word. It's like a cultural phenomenon. Can never say that word. Phenomenon. That we all, I say we all, I shouldn't say that because I'm not participating. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that don't. But it's clear that if you look at any streaming channel platform, look at the top 10, look what's on there. True murder, true crime, all the gore porn you could possibly want a fucking feed on. There's a lot of that stuff on there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it's evident that there's a lot of money, of course, in it. And there's a lot of thirst. And I feel like, if you get back to that unquenchable thirst concept, what is, what does that mean to you, Ben? An unquenchable thirst for, watching gore or stuff that's dark and sinister and like there's suffering in it. Like I watched um the John Wick movie. Now I'm not knocking John Wick movies, but how many people getting taken out in that film?
Us hundreds, isn't it? That's the whole point of those films. Is it just is fight after fight after fight and people
Why
falling.
why is this such a thing? Why is there a frenzy over it? Why it's almost like it's orgasmic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I really feel like it's like people getting hard-ons. Like their hands are down their pants whilst watching it.
I
Metaphorically speaking,
Metaphorically
I'm
speaking.
joking. There's satire in what I'm saying, so it's not actually what is actually happening. All right, so we're clear. Or
Okay.
maybe it is. Are you watching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, I go back to that. Like you talked about watching things you shouldn't have done when you were a kid, and like you actually got to watch them. And my sort of experience is slightly different in that my parents tried to put in quite a strong boundary. So there's like I remember trying to watch American Werewolf in London around someone's house, and my mum putting a stop to that very quickly. Was there a film called? Is it called Alligator?
Don't know, but can I just land on that film a minute?
Go on.
That shower scene.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'd. So, yeah, you know the one I mean
yeah, yeah,
in American Werewolf.
yeah,
That was very profound to me.
yeah, yeah. And there's an X-rated movie in it, which they made. They made like a porn film to show in the cinema. So there's a bit where they go like they're chasing through a cinema in Soho, and that film was made. The porn film was made
Oh,
specifically for
really?
the film. Yeah. So
Oh,
there's, but what that did for me was, uh, it made me want to watch it more. It's sort of like this is forbidden fruit kind of thing. So it's like
it
right, I want to
is.
watch this now. And I
Yeah.
like there's another alligator, which I think it's called alligator, but it was basically a baby alligator who's dropped down the toilet at the beginning of the film, and then it grows in the sewers and becomes this massive beast and starts
That
eating
sounds
people.
hilarious.
Again, really, really dodgy B movie, but again, I was watching it around some. It was friends of my parents. You know, we were around there, and the I think they had three boys who were sort of around my age, and they put it on. And they were allowed to watch it, so I was like, oh, you know, what's the problem? And then I think the other one was Prince Purple Rain, which again has got some quite erotic scenes in it. But these were films that I wanted to watch when I was about 12, 13,
Mm,
maybe a bit younger, and probably looking back at it now were completely unsuitable, like you said. But the moment I was told you can't watch this was like, right, I'm going to find a way of watching this.
yeah, forbidden fruit,
And
definitely.
and I just wonder, like, I wonder what that serves in people. Like, there are people. I'm not a huge horror fan. I watch, I watch horror films if I have to, but they wouldn't be my first port of call. I wouldn't like
Mm,
that's not like I won't sit down on a Saturday night to have a movie night and go, oh yeah, let's watch Nightmare on Elm Street or any of the sort of classic 80s horrors. But there are people that absolutely are obsessed by horror films, and that sort of darker side. And is it? I mean, I presume is that the modern equivalent of watching Gladiators? Is that, is it like are you watching suffering? Are you watching pain? Are you watching people being murdered and decapitated and pulled apart in different ways? I mean, is it? I don't know. I've never, because I've never really been into it. I've never I've never
mm,
really thought about that. What people get from it, other than, I mean, that horrible, the jump. I have I have been watching some really odd Japanese horror recently. I've been watching The Curse, or The
oh,
Grudge. I can't remember. I think it's The Grudge,
God.
is this, and it's got this really. It's just they're just really, they look like bad 80s VHS films. I mean, the quality of the filmmaking is, the quality of the film, sorry, is poor.
Hmm.
But the quality of the filmmaking is incredible, because even though that it looks very low budget, the story and the way that the jumping, like, I mean, yeah, it's got this little character. It's got this little Japanese boy whose face is painted completely white, and he
Uh,
just sort of appears in random scenes or under tables when you're not expecting him, and he just makes you jump out of your skin. So it's not particularly gory film, but it is a scary film, and I just wonder what purpose that serves for people that want to see that all the time, and that's their first choice of film.
I don't know, man. I've just what's come up for me is also I've just thought of this computer games.
Yeah.
Right now, I remember when that the famous um car one came out, and it was the Grand Theft one,
Mm,
and there was this huge, massive debate and hoo-ha about, oh, you shouldn't be playing that for young people. It's got like all sorts of debauchery and
hmm.
it's got drug dealers on there and prostitutes and all of that stuff. It's like, why? We shouldn't be having this and da da da. And it's like there's a link to, especially in America because they've got all the guns and that, people walking into schools and shooting everyone and all these horror things that are playing out in America because of the
Mm.
guns, their gun freaking craze that they've got there, where, you know, to kill a bad person with a gun, you need a good guy with a gun. It's that, isn't it? It's like, no,
Yeah,
just get
yeah.
rid of all your guns, man. You know what I mean? That's the answer, in my opinion. But what do I know, eh? I'm not living there. I don't have a clue, but I've been there enough to know that, it is quite a bit like, what the hell? It's the Wild West,
Hmm.
but over here we haven't got that problem yet. It's not to say it won't get there. There's obviously a black market for it, and you've got the knife thing and machetes and all that mad shit. But clearly, well, no, not clearly. Well, no, yeah, clearly, there might be some evidence that suggests possibly that, why is it someone goes out into the street and starts chopping people up, or starting to, pick people off like they're in a freaking computer game. Or they've just watched one of them mad films where it's like a body count. Why, is there any link? I don't know. There's been this debate for quite a while and quite some
Yeah.
time. Is there a link? And if there is, why aren't we doing something about it? You know what I mean?
Did you play computer games as a kid?
Um, we didn't really look. The My mum and dad, and my dad, wasn't in our home all the time because he was when he moved out. But the time that I grew up with my mum and dad present, there was definitely, I was too young to be watching stuff. There was never ever a point where they encouraged us, or took their eye off the ball with
Mm.
parenting. Like, um, they definitely made sure we were watching the right stuff. And computer games wasn't a thing. We didn't really, computers. We didn't really. That wasn't a thing,
Mm.
in our house, which I'm actually quite grateful for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. We didn't get a TV till I was 6 or 7, and the main reason we got a TV was because my mum was worried about me being picked on at school
Mm,
because I didn't actually know what any of the other kids were talking about in the playground.
mm.
So I remember getting a TV and like my mum forcing me to watch the A Team, which I'm very grateful for because some of my happiest memories as a kid are watching the A Team.
And getting on no plane full.
Exactly, it's like my
Is that why
my
you don't
motto
get?
now.
Is that why you don't get on planes?
Yeah, because
You watch the A Team.
Mr. T is my hero. Um, but also they were quite anti-computers, and so we never got a computer. So it always felt to me like I was the kid that went around other people's houses and watched, and they'd go, "Oh yeah, we can play computer games," and they go, "It's
Mm,
my turn," and I'd have a go, and I'd last about a minute on whatever the game was, and then they'd have a go, and they'd last 3 hours because they knew what they were doing.
mm,
And so when it comes to all like the bigger games, as computer games got more advanced and all the sort of shoot 'em ups and other games that the car one you've talked about, and I just never really I
mm,
couldn't I couldn't play them because I didn't have the mindset or the skill set, and I just never was into it.
yeah,
And so I find it difficult to understand the links between why
mm.
you would want to uh, shoot people in real life if you've been shooting them on screen. It, it, it,
Yeah,
it always to me would suggest that if you're doing it somewhere, then there's an outlet for it. And I wouldn't want to make it real. I'd say there's some other switch. It's like saying, playing the Beatles record backwards is going to turn you into Satan. It's just I think people are always looking for reasons and excuses.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I
Bringing on,
do I do think you've got to have a certain propensity to want to watch horror,
yeah,
want to watch a lot of porn.
yeah,
And I think the moment you get into that, it's like I guess if you've got an addictive brain and you get in addicted to that, then you have got to get your kicks have got
yeah,
to get stronger each time. So
yeah,
maybe that's it. It's not the game per se that's causing it. It's the I'm now hooked on this. And now where do I get my next fix from? Because this isn't cutting it. So how do I take it
yeah.
to the next level?
And you can relate that to anything. That is the nature of the beast, right? And what come up to me, right, is shadow side.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that we all have a shadow side. Like I believe we've all got the capacity to be completely insane, right? Because on the bandwidth, right? And anyone that wants to challenge me on that, feel free. But I believe, and it's just a belief, doesn't mean I'm right. It's just the way I see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a bandwidth or a spectrum.
Yep.
Bandwidth. At one end, you're sane. At the other end, you're insane. There's a lot in between. And I believe everyone has the capacity to be at any point on that bandwidth. Where are you at, people, on that bandwidth? Have you been insane before? Have you been completely sane before? Or have you experienced a lot of, you know, levels varying between those two opposing ends, right?
I don't think anyone, again, this is my opinion, but I think if you've gone towards the insanity, Larry, you probably don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's the fishbowl thing. As soon as you realize you're a fish in a fishbowl, you're not, it's that thing. The fish is the last one to realize it's in the fishbowl, right?
Okay.
As it said.
Mm-hmm.
My good friend Christoph, renowned psychotherapist,
Mm-hmm.
um, used that analogy on my other podcast, and I've just remembered it. It just felt relevant to use it. But it's that, the insane person is the last one to realize that they're insane.
Yeah.
Everyone else can see it, and then it's like, you're fucking nuts, mate. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And once you make that realization that you are, then you can start to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, um, and it's the same, the unquenchable thirst, as I always like to use it, um, it's never enough. I can't, no matter what I'm having, it's not enough. I've got a thirst that I can't quench. I need more, more, more. And you're right. The more you indulge, the more you crave, the more you um, satisfy that craving. Satisfy is the wrong word because if you were satisfied, you wouldn't crave anymore. But you can't stop. There's never enough. It's a bottomless hole that you're trying to fill, and it's like more, 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 and I can't satisfy that craving, that need, that desire. It's unquenchable, right? So you can apply it to anything. Hands down pants,
Mm-hmm.
blue movies. Whilst you got your hands down your pants, you could apply it to um, gaming. You could apply it to going down any rabbit hole with content, whether you're on your social media feed, your streaming platforms, you're going to the cinema to get your kicks, you're getting them in real life, or you're on dating apps and you're doing it, or you're going out and you're a mass murderer, a serial killer, and you're doing it, you know?
I like the way you went from dating apps to serial killers there. I mean, that's
Well,
quite a leap.
well, I'm not being
Well,
funny,
yeah.
but I'm sure there's a few on there, that, but like, not to scare anyone. But do we really know who we're freaking talking to half the time? What people present. But where I'm going with this is the nature of the beast, and I know it well. That unquenchable thirst, aka addiction, right?
Mhm.
Entanglement, right? Attachment. you know. If anyone relates to what I'm talking about on any subject, I'm not just talking about what I'm talking about. It could be anything, you know, online shopping, drinking too much coffee, energy drinks, you know, sweet things, savory things, pizza, people, you know, holidays, um, whatever, right? We're craving, and it's a perpetuating, endless sense of craving. There's a shadow side part of that. There's a shadow side, you know, and if anyone's not heard of that term before, you know, what is a shadow side that I believe we all have? There's a polarization. It's like that bandwidth. I used insanity, sanity before, but like let's use shadow side. And what's on the other end of the shadow side? What's the opposing our shadow side? What is shadow side? It's maybe the darker part of our being that wants to indulge in things that maybe are of X-rated content, that's feeding a part of us that wants to scratch an itch that we have that we feel is there's something lacking, in my opinion. There's something not, you know, we're not tapping into something that's maybe, you know, maybe it's just intrigue. Maybe it's a desire to explore danger, or there's definitely some adrenaline to it. I know there's 100% adrenaline is what comes up. There's an adrenaline is highly addictive, you know. And I believe I know whenever I've watched something that's quite um that's X-rated, whether it's blue or or
Pink or
pink
green.
or green or but you know horror or gore porn or just traditional porn, whenever I've um experienced and engaged with that stuff, adrenaline is very much prevalent in my body.
Mm.
My heart's pumping. There's a sense of, you know, excitement. I feel there's stuff, you know, that's starting to happen in my body. There's a
There's a,
chemical reaction.
yeah, and there's a hunger that can never be satisfied.
Yeah.
You know,
And the more you
however
do
much you
it,
get of it, it's like I want more. I want
yeah,
more.
the more you do it, the more you crave it. The more you crave it, the more you indulge. The more your tolerance levels, you know, ramp up. So you've got you know you need a greater hit. You need more. This is why I'm just going to land on young men because I work with a lot of them, and I'm not saying any individual in particular, but as a whole, there's 100% hands down pants, you know, content that's accessible, being in their room alone with that content that's accessible 24/7, no age limit,
Hmm.
right? And then the nature of the beast, which is what we're talking about, that unquenchable thirst, they're tapping into their shadow side and they're already displaying other problem behavior and addiction issues, right? And it's a big part, that shadow side, the addiction side, you know, it's all part of the fabric. It's all interweaved. And it creates this this blanket of um I'm trying to think the right word. It's like I mean, I help these people. They have to go to treatment. They get treated for it.
Mm.
For a lot of what I'm talking about. It's not just drugs, you know? Um, sex addiction, porn addiction, screen addiction, love addiction. You know what I mean?
Mm.
X-rated.
Yeah, and
Um,
I just wonder as well, like we talked about it earlier, like this idea of it being X-rated, being shadow, being seen as darker, seeing as something we don't talk about, we don't discuss, and that very British mentality of sort of the seaside postcards, sex is sort of smutty and it's seen as yeah, seen as something that we
Carry
don't.
on,
Yeah, carry on. So
carry on
it's either
movies.
funny or it's dark and hidden in seedy cinemas in Soho. I just wonder again, like if we were able to have more open conversations, able to communicate our needs, and I do think it feels to me like I definitely think with uh, the Me Too movement and the way that female empowerment is moving. I mean, it's still got a huge way to go. Like any of these, trying to change societal sort of expectations and attitudes. But I do think there is a new way of sort of saying this is what I need, this is what I want, this is how I want it, and there is a more open discussion there. And I wonder the moment we do that, the moment we're able to share and say this is how I feel, this is how I think, without judgment,
Mm,
then you are able to have a healthier conversation and a healthier society. Because
mm.
I do, the fact is, if you are, growing up, you went my as I talked about those seedy cinemas in Soho where men in dirty rain macs sort of disappeared, and or the sex shops where people came out with like brown paper bags. It was all hidden, and the porn in the woods that we I don't know why was porn dropped in woods. I'm sure there was
There
some.
was, they were always in the woods, man,
Yeah, yeah,
in a bag,
yeah.
always.
Why people thought, oh, that's the place I'm going to drop all this porn. And if they had that much porn, how did they hidden it in the house in the first place? So many questions around that. um, but if it wasn't seen as something dirty and it was seen as something more natural and more, uh, we were able to be more open about it. I just think this whole idea of being X-rated, I still think there's layers of onions. I think there's layers of conversations and how you have those conversations as you grow older. I
Yeah.
don't think we should be suddenly giving 6-year-olds, explicit advice. That's not what I'm saying, but I think as a society, we are very, uh, we do see it as something X-rated and dirty that we don't talk about, which means it then becomes something forbidden that
Mm.
more people are drawn towards because it's you if you talk about it and you're more open about it, you take that attraction away from it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's almost like um I think the X-rated, the connotation, that's what we set out right at the beginning, or I set out, I said, look, how are we gonna, and here we are, I feel coming to the end of the episode, and it's like, have we actually really, and I think what you just said really encapsulates it quite nicely, is that it's it's how we've framed it. And it started in the 60s, did you say, with the beginning of
Yeah, 69, which is later
um,
than I thought. I thought it'd be earlier than that.
and where we are now with it, and where's the world at?
Yeah.
And everything just seems to be, it's almost like X-rated. It's almost like the content warrants to be X-rated as a label, because it's just a label. It's just something that's been put on it like PG and 15 and all of that stuff to say this is X-rated, like an X file.
Hmm.
This is secret squirrel information that only certain people should be looking at. But the thing is, everyone's fucking looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now,
Because the world's different and we've
yeah.
changed and we've got the technology and the means to be able to, young people can access this stuff. And you only have to look at that recent thing, adolescence, that we was talking about,
Mhm.
you was talking about, that was on, as a big phenomenon, and it was a huge thing. It's gone to America, I think, and been picked up in America. I think they've got hold of it as well. And it's very evident that what we're talking about here is affecting some younger people because they're accessing certain things and information that they shouldn't be looking at. And it's clearly having a profound impact on them. And, is society suffering? Is there going to be a kickback? Is there going to be something that's going to happen further down the line? Well, we'll see. But I don't know, man. I mean, I know how it relates to me. And what it comes down to for me is I have a choice, right? If you're going to be X-rated in the bedroom, man, with a loved one. You know what I mean?
Not out in public.
Yeah,
It's
don't
gonna get
don't
you in trouble.
don't be in the shopping centre putting your X-rated behaviour on people, man. You know what I mean? Just leave. Don't be the one at the concert who's had too many freaking sherbets and is going to walk around grappling people because you had your hands down your pants that morning and you're feeling a bit fruity. Where's your boundaries? Where's your decorum? You
Hmm.
know, do we are we allowed to have some X-rated content in our lives? Is there any harm in that? Do we need a little bit of release sometimes and a little bit of theatre that's a little bit naughty? You know, are we meant to be just all saints and being serious and goody goodies all the time? Well, I can only talk for myself. And do you know what? It's like how it all started. I could have gone with xenophobia, but something in me just wanted to choose X-rated
Yeah.
because I, like everyone else, I can't say everyone else, sorry. Like, I can only speak for myself. I can only presume that other people might be like me.
Hmm.
Let us know. Join us at the Velvet Revolution pod.com and mark it as X-rated. Mark it as X Files. So and if you want to be anonymous, and we'll read out your thoughts. Where are you at with this, people? Come on. But I can only talk for myself, you know, that there's something in me that, I, I'm a good person
Hmm.
and I reap what I sow. I realize that. So I put out good stuff, and I'm aware that my vibration that I am as a human, my energetic vibration, right? Getting cosmic here, is higher. I'm on a higher frequency when I'm doing the good stuff.
Hmm.
And some of that, mostly, not all of it, but mostly some of that is pure, good stuff, right? Unicorns, rainbows, fluffy clouds, you know what I mean? But
Beautiful.
if I dip into, and it is a choice, if I was to dip into the darker realms of my shadow self, my shadow side, and the shadow side will always seek out the X-rated stuff, whether that's whatever. Shouldn't automatically think X-rated is porn, right? Um, which I'm going to be clear on this. I don't. When I got into recovery, I used the bottom line with that. That
Hmm.
went okay. It went because my frequency was duller for it. It was lower. It was dark. I wanted to enlighten myself. I wanted to empower myself. So that was important. It had to go. Um, but it's not about perfection, people. It's just having some awareness to know that some things can bring you down a bit.
That's very true. Very true. I think is that the right place to finish?
I think this, honestly, I feel like we could do another episode on this and still explore loads of other stuff because
Yeah.
there's a lot in this. But
It feels if sorry, go on.
I feel like we've got enough. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it feels like a lot of these conversations we have. It feels like we get to a point and we could launch off in another three or four different directions again. Yeah, there's so much more to that. Yeah,
So what's your conclusion to it? And then we'll end it.
my conclusion to it. My conclusion is that we need to dip in to our shadow side. We need to not be afraid of our shadow side, and we need to open it up, uh,
100%.
and we need to talk about it. And I think that is my conclusion, is that if we hide it in a brown paper bag and we have to go into some shop that no one can see in and buy it under a counter, then it's only going to get darker and worse. And unless we open it up and we have conversations around it and we talk about it, then uh, I guess if we're talking shadow work, if we don't shine a light on it, then I think it becomes a problem. So
Sick as our secrets.
yeah, yeah, like everyone knows Area 51. Well, if you don't, look it up. But everyone wants to get in there. Everyone wants to see the spaceships, wants to see the aliens. Like, all they need to do is actually open the blooming warehouse up and show us that it's just got some tanks in there or something.
Yeah,
The more they go, no, no one's looking in there, no one's telling us what's in there, then we're like, there's definitely aliens in there.
yeah.
And I really hope there are. Well, I don't actually, because they'll probably be dead. But I do. I'd love to believe there was other life out in the universe. But
I've only got a little baby diplodocus or something, and they're just like, it's in a little incubator, and they're just trying to keep it alive or something. It's something completely
yeah,
random,
yeah, yeah,
or some
yeah.
dodos or something.
Richard Attenborough's in there, reharvesting dinosaurs.
Oh my days. Okay. All right, Mr. Rice. Well, look, I feel like on that note, I'm gonna get off and watch
Find the light.
watch the goriest film I can find and have a
Texas
really
Chainsaw Massacre
yeah.
3.
Oh, just to end, I remember getting home one night. I was off my noodle, right? And I was staying at this house that I was in some random house. And I made some cheese and toast off my crackers really late at
Mhm.
night. Sat on the sofa, put the TV on, and the exact fucking scene that came on when I turned on TV was the moment that the Leatherface slung that girl on the hook.
Mhm.
And I was just about to bite into my cheese and toast. So I was like, that's going off. Oh my God. Anyway, until the next one, man.
Until the next one, let's go into the sunshine and find the light, and
Oh
yeah,
dear.
and talk about our shadow sides.
Yeah. Right, man. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, take care. Have a good day.
Thanks. And you. Ta-ta.
Bye.